Hey guys, Dr. Ben here. We're going to have a live Q&A, so anybody jumping on, go ahead and pop down below what questions you have. Welcome. Love getting to the underlying root cause of what is going on in your systems, in your bodies. Remember, when we have these questions, when we have these thoughts, what should I do, what should I take, whatever, always be thinking about what's the underlying cause. Why is the body going haywire? And that's what we look at with patients all the time, is where are these issues coming from? So love having you guys on. Pop down below where you're watching from. Any thumbs up, any smiley faces, anything are much appreciated. We got kind of pushed to the back of the bus in this world of Facebook over the last couple of weeks. So any engagement, any thumbs up, anything is much appreciated. Algorithms really like that. So let's get to it. Go ahead and pop down what questions you have. We are talking about the whys. Functional medicine is all about getting to the underlying why. Why is the body having these issues? You can ask about thyroid, about autoimmune, about gut, about brain. Hey Kim, great to see you. So here's, I'll get it started. And we had a patient asking about the Quercetin post that I had earlier. If you look in the Facebook stream here, you'll find that post, the study on there. Brittany will go ahead and pop that one in there as well, and then a link if you're interested in Quercetin. So there was a study showing that Quercetin, and they were comparing two groups that had Quercetin and one that did not take Quercetin, and how they did with COVID. And there was significant improvement in the outcome and less hospitalizations, all types of different things in the group that was taking the Quercetin. So we've known this for a long time, and that Quercetin can be taken with zinc especially, and Quercetin helps zinc cross the cell barrier, that cell wall, and zinc is an antiviral. Zinc is one of the best antivirals out there on the nutritional side, but it has a hard time getting into the cell. And remember, viruses, they sit outside the cell until they can get inside. Once they can get inside, that's when they can replicate. That's when they can reproduce, get up to like 1,000, and it'll get so big it'll pop and then go on and go to other cells from there. So viruses are going to be killed easily by zinc if zinc can get into the cell. Quercetin is one of those best things that you can do. Quercetin's good for allergies, it's good for brain function, a lot of different things. So if you've got any questions on that one, let me know. Does hydrogen peroxide mixed with saline in a nebulizer damage the lungs? We have not seen any research on it damaging the lungs if you're doing the right percentages. And Dr. Brownstein up in Detroit, he's given this to a bunch of his patients. He's worked with many COVID patients, and so you can Google him and look up some of his percentages, dosages, all of those things. We don't prescribe this to patients. We can't recommend that you do it, but there is some good research out there. Hey, Sherry and Bayard, good to see you. So yeah, we have not seen any specific damage to the lungs. I have known people that have done that, but you've got to do the right percentage. Don't just do that food grade hydrogen peroxide straight and start nebulizing that. And maybe you don't want to do it for 3 years in a row, but in that short term, a week or whatever somebody is having these issues, it's not a bad idea to go down that path. Let me see. Go ahead and pop any questions down below. Wilma there in Alabama, great to see you. Sunny, what is a good multivitamin for men? And what do you need to really look for ages 46? So one of the things that you don't want is you don't want iron in the multivitamin for men, especially men at age 46. I'm 46 as well. So, ultimately, here's what you want to do on a daily basis, and whether it's a true multi or not, you should have some fish oil. We just posted today another study showing that if people are taking fish oil, they have much lower chance of getting type 1 diabetes, and we're seeing even adults, 46-year-olds, get type 1 autoimmune diabetes. So you want to do your fish oil. You want to get your vitamin D up to 60 to 80. So whatever dosage it takes to do that. People always ask how much vitamin D. I'm like, well, it depends what your levels are. So if you haven't tested your levels, you've got to figure that out. And then a probiotic is really good to do on a regular basis, but you want to vary the type of probiotics that you use. So you don't want to use the same strain. There's like 1,800 different strains that they can tell you about. And so if you're using the exact same one all the time, you're just hitting this very small part of your digestive tract. So you want to do that vitamin D, fish oil, probiotic. And if you want to do a multi, you can. Obviously, I'd rather you get those nutrients from your food, eating a bunch of good vegetables, good solid proteins, good fats, as much organic, grow what you can, farmers markets, all of those things. But if the diet's pretty sketchy, then you would want to do a multi, and it doesn't have to be a super high dose multivitamin, but you want to get it in as natural form of the vitamins as possible, and get it from a good reputable company through there. So hope that helps. Kristen, great to see you. And what about colloidal silver in the nebulizer? Any benefits? I haven't done it personally, and I haven't read any research on the colloidal silver nebulized, but I've seen colloidal silver be given in IVs. I've seen it been taken topically, been taken orally, been done in nasal sprays, all types of different things, that colloidal silver. So I'm assuming that it would be another adjunct to the nebulizer. You would just have to do some research on what percentage of colloidal silver to saline you would need to do there. But yeah, colloidal silver, one of the best anti out there. I would say if you've got a nasal spray and you get home from Costco or wherever you are and there's a lot of people, we're going to a concert this Friday. There'll be 20,000 people in the Pepsi Center there in Denver. And you know what? There's probably going to be some germs. I don't know what kind of germs, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to do some nasal spray, squirt in the mouth and kill off, because remember, those membranes are going to hold on to viruses, and that's going to be one of our first lines of defense there. What do you think about flu shots? This is coming from Sherry. I think flu shots exist. I think they are a thing. I think, unfortunately, for the manufacturers and for the people getting them, they're not very accurate. And a lot of years it can be even down as low as 10%, 10 to 50% is the typical average for flu shots, meaning that they try to get the right strain, but most of the time they miss it, and the majority of people are not getting the benefit from it. I know that if somebody's over 70, their effectiveness of that flu shot is about 50%, where if somebody's in their 20s or 30s, it's like 80%. So way less effective for older people. Their immune system just isn't robust enough to create a response to it. So, unfortunately, they're not, what people think they are, and as robust as they think they are. If it really was going to be this godsend and everybody over 70, it's going to save their life, well, we're already down, let's say 50% on it actually being the right one, and then it's only 50% effective there. So unfortunately, they're not the be all and end all. So even if somebody does get the flu shot, you still better be doing everything you can to make that host as strong as possible. Hope that helps there. Wilma, any supplement that would help you rebuild the myelin sheath of your nerves? I would, looking at this, it sounds like you're talking about MS, and my mom had MS. I was a junior in high school. She got diagnosed. She went on disability when I was a senior. That whole downward spiral, went on the drugs, got a cane, got a wheelchair. They moved down to the Ozarks in Missouri, found in this little town this doctor that did functional medicine before it was called functional medicine, and they started unwinding a lot of these things. And there was no one magic thing that started rebuilding the myelin sheath. So the first thing you got to do, just like in my book, Rebuild Your Brain, Stop the Damage, Start the Repair. What I talk about is, first half of the book is stopping the damage. So if you've got MS, if you've got autoimmune condition, you've got to stop the damage first, and then you can start repairing and rebuilding there. But if you're still breaking down, there's no magic juju berry that's going to fix your myelin sheath. So on that note, what do you got to do? Well, you've got to go in and think about what myelin sheath is made up of, and it's mostly a fat-based thing. so we've got to come in, we've got to have a lot of good fats, fish oils, sardines. Everybody loves it when I say sardines. Going in with coconut oil, even lard, saturated fats are going to be great for that myelin sheath. Olive oil, a lot of those things. So really making sure that the nutrients are there in your diet. Make sure that you are activating those nerves, because the body can rebuild that myelin sheath. Moral of the story with my mom, she gave away her wheelchair, gave away her cane. No more plaquing on her MRI, and she does granny boot camp now at 78 years old. Takes my kids fishing. She was just up in Wyoming wading in this big river fishing, all these things. And so that myelin sheath can repair. 100%, absolutely. Don't let somebody tell you it can't. It can repair. We've got other patients. I've got a video on Facebook talking with her, and she went from like 8 lesions down to barely 1 left in her brain and spinal cord. And she's working full time and doing all types of things. So the body can heal if given the right things. Melissa, every time I take fish oil, it gives me heartburn. How can I avoid this? So there are some that are enteric coated. So you want to look for enteric coated fish oil. And basically that's going to get further down the digestive tract, and you will not, basically you don't want it opening up in that stomach. So you may try it with some food, see if that helps with your dinner, whatever, take it then. But otherwise look for enteric coated on that. Or, here we go, a can of sardines every day, and that will be just as good. But most people won't do that. I had my sardines yesterday. Amy, my husband took the Moderna. What should he taking to clear his body? So the thing that we're seeing with either of those is that it's creating more of an inflammatory process as opposed to a toxin process. And what I'm saying is that in blood work that we've seen pre and post, really high numbers on C-reactive protein and some other things. So more about inflammation than it is about toxins. So I don't know right now what, to clear the body. I don't even know what that means. There's some different things that you can read online, but what we've seen in practice is that we've got to get the inflammation down. Turmeric, fish oil, we've got to be as anti-inflammatory diet as possible, getting rid of gluten and dairy, kind of the AIP type thought process, more meats, veggies, fats, low glycemic fruits, no grains, beans, nuts and seeds, keeping those to a minimum. Just really go on as anti-inflammatory process as he can, and that's going to be the best thing to keep that inflammation down. So hope that helps. And let's see what other questions. Go ahead and pop those down below. Love seeing you guys out there wherever you are. Pop down below. We had New Zealand yesterday. We had South Africa. We had Asia. So great to see everybody. Hey Amanda, great to see you. And Sherry, you are welcome. Let's see what other questions we have. Paula, great to see you as well. Do you have any suggestions for dry mouth for Sjogren'S? So again, same thought process as my Rebuild Your Brain book. Stop the damage, start the repair. Speaking of dry mouth, I'm a little dry this morning. So Sjogren'S is an autoimmune condition. Usually we'll see ANA high. Every patient that we run blood work on, we check for ANA because we see it. Probably 20% of the patients have high ANA, and a lot of them don't even realize it. It could be lupus, it could be Sjogren'S, mixed connective tissue disorder, but Sjogren'S is attacking the cells in the mouth and in the eyes that produce the fluid and the lubrication, and so we get dry mouth, dry eyes. And it's pretty horrible, Brenda. I'm sure you're not enjoying life if you've got Sjogren'S right now. So first thing though, you've got to stop the damage that's taking place in the mouth. When my mom healed her MS, she did not just take the magic juju berry to heal up her myelin sheath. What she did was stop damaging that myelin sheath and those nerves in her autoimmune condition that was going on. And then from there, she went through and did rehab and healing and nutrients and all types of therapies to start that rehab and that rebuilding in there. So, just as far as here, take this thing, it's going to be tough. The eyes, you can stimulate the cells in there to start kicking out more fluid. The mouth's going to be a little bit harder, but you've got to focus. If you haven't stopped your Sjogren's autoimmune and reversed what's going on in there and why it's actually happening, doesn't matter what how much water you drink, rinse in your mouth, whatever you got to do. One of the biggest things that I would do is really focus on breathing through your nose. And even when you're hiking, walking, doing anything, as you're breathing through your mouth, you dry it out. If I'm hiking and it's a really dry day, I'm gonna breathe through my nose as much as I possibly can, because otherwise my mouth is gonna get dry. I may not have enough water with me, etc. So breathe through your nose as much as you possibly can, and that'll keep more moisture in your mouth. Again, it doesn't fix it, but you've got to fix the Sjogren's first, and then you can go down that path. So Brenda, have you addressed your Sjogren's yet? In regards to your mom, that's miraculous and amazing to hear. Absolutely, Amanda. She's definitely a miracle. One of the most giving, loving people that I've ever known. So yes, thank you. She a lot of faith, a lot of prayer through that one. Melissa, never tried sardines? Come on! So next time you're at Costco, they've got the little 6-pack. Don't just go for one and go, ooh, I'm gonna try one. You gotta go all in. So try those sardines, throw it on your salad, just pick it up, and if you wanna creep out your kids, you got the spine in there sometimes. It's awesome. I love sardines, but there's as much fish oil in a can of sardines as in a fish oil capsule. So you gotta do it. Come on, guys. Jody, does quercetin interfere with the thyroid? I read someone said it does. I have not seen that in our patients. I have not seen definitive research that says it interferes with the thyroid or thyroid production. So with our patients, I'm not concerned about that. But if you find something different and feel better. All right, Amanda, what are your thoughts on Curamed? Can you tell me what Curamed is? I'm not sure on that one. Do you do online or consults? Absolutely. So, and we work with patients all over the country. Right now, we've got our Nashville office. We've got our Fort Collins location. We're getting ready by the first of the year to be in Denver, and we're getting our second location in Nashville. We're looking at Knoxville in Q1 of 2022, and then start branching out from there as well. So if you guys have places that you would love to see one of our offices, pop down below, send us direct messages. If you've got doctors that would be interested in this type of work, that we're always looking for good doctors to train up in this method and get them cranking in this process. So the answer is yes, we do work with patients all over the country, all over the world. Probably 60% of my patients we see remotely. So totally doable, no matter where you are. As long as you want to put the work in and you want to get better, we can help you. So Janie, back in Fremont, you made it. Great appointment with you yesterday. Your staff is fabulous. Thank you. You are wonderful. Yes, Janie came all the way out from Fremont, right outside Omaha, probably an 8-hour drive. Sweet couple. Got to talk about some antelope hunting, and got a husband pig hunts down in Texas. So got a good place. I think we're going to go down in the spring. So tell your husband thank you. We will be, but don't worry, we won't put the pig head up on our wall. That's a little too much. Hey, Tiffany, there in Athens, Georgia. Brenda, any suggestions for the dry mouth? Again, suggestion for that dry mouth. Breathe through your nose as much as feasibly possible. Is quercetin good on a regular basis or just when sick? So quercetin has a lot of value outside of being that kind of antiviral component. Quercetin is great for brain function. So there's a lot of people in the anti-Alzheimer's world, brain fog, memory, some of those things. They recommend quercetin a lot. In the allergy world as well, quercetin can be really good for seasonal allergies. So yes, quercetin is great on a regular basis. Please talk about curing colon inflammation. Absolutely. So colon inflammation, the colon is the large intestine. It's the last part of the digestive tract before we're excreting things out. The large intestine, it absorbs water. It's going to prepare our bowel movement, ready for fecal matter, and ready to be excreted. It's a big part of that is the good bacteria, bad bacteria. That's the main part of what's going on through there. And it's a very, very important part of the digestive process. If things are out of balance, a lot of times food sits there too long, it's not broken down well enough, we can get fermentation, gas, bloating, yet just yucky feeling down below, putrid smelling, all types of yucky things. So the colon, if we have inflammation, that could be colitis, that could be like ulcerative colitis, that could be Crohn's disease, there can be damage, and it's actually autoimmune for a lot of people in that digestive tract. We've got patients that were going 20, 30 times a day, and we've gotten them down to 1 or 2 times a day, and that inflammation is down, and they're doing great. We've been able to help people reverse their Crohn's, reverse their ulcerative colitis all the time. But remember, you've got to first stop the damage. And so what do you do with that? Well, you got to figure out why there's inflammation in the first place. Is the blood sugar off? Do we have leaky gut? Are we eating inflammatory foods? Are we eating allergenic foods? Is our vitamin D out of balance? What's our fight or flight process like in our brain? You can either fight or flight, or you can rest and digest. But if you're fight or flight all the time, your digestion's going to stink. There's no if, and, or buts about it. Your body will not want to break things down. So what do you got to do? Well, you got to first figure out calming down the whole body inflammation, and then we come in. A lot of times there's bad bacteria, yeast overgrowth, and you've got to actually kill it off. One of our favorites, Brittany will pop that up there, the ADP, Brittany. And then if that one's still on back order, you can post the Dysbiocide as well. Both of those are really, really good. We've used those for years. You do some kill off, you build it back up with the probiotics, and just really get that good microbiome built back up. But a lot of times that's a microbiome issue as well. So what are the first steps to rebuilding gut health? So we just went through some of that as well. Amber, thanks for the question. And so first steps to rebuilding gut health. It depends what's going on. If you've got leaky gut, you've got to, 4 R's, we've talked about this before, you've got to remove the bad things. So you take out allergenic foods, gluten, dairy, corn, soy, eggs, nuts, seeds, beans, all of those things. So like an AIP type diet. So you remove that. You remove the pathogens, you got to do kill off. We were just talking about that oil of oregano, the Dysbiocide. Some of those nutrients are going to be really good at killing off. You're going to re-inoculate, so after you kill off, then you bring in the good stuff. You're going to repair, so doing some things that are going to regenerate that gut lining, whether that's fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, some of those, or glutamine. You can pop glutamine on there as well, Brittany, and on Full Script, that's a great one to do. I take that on a daily basis. So things that are going to aloe vera juice, things like that, that are going to help heal up that gut lining. And then from there, you've got to really focus on replacing any enzymes, stomach acid, anything else that you may be deficient in, and not breaking it down. So we call it the 4 R's, and you replace those enzymes and stomach acid, you remove the bad stuff, foods, pathogens, all that, you repair that gut lining, and then you re-inoculate with the good stuff. So hopefully that helps, Amber. And hey, Nicole, great to see you. Cindy, bladder infection without antibiotics. So Cindy, Brittany will post down below a link for D-mannose. D-mannose is a powder amino acid, but it's great. It basically coats that bladder lining, and it's going to be very, very helpful. Way better than some of the other natural remedies out there, but D-mannose would be the best. But then also you got to figure out, why is it happening in the first place? You probably need to work on your gut health. You've probably got some overgrowth of bad bacteria, candida, things like that. So you've got to go through, get that gut as healthy as possible. The other thing, you need to look for somebody that does visceral manipulation. So no matter where you live, look for somebody that does visceral manipulation, where you basically can dig into the abdomen and move the bladder. A lot of times the bladder has shifted a little bit and it's not pushing out all the urine like it's supposed to, and so then we'll have more likely to hold some in there and get an infection. So you want to look at the gut, you want to take the D-mannose, and then find somebody that can do some visceral manipulation, which is going to be like adjustments of your organs. So Lisa, great to see you. Can enzymes help heal your gut? Just like we were saying, enzymes, stomach acid, sometimes you have to replace those. Some people make enough enzymes. Some people that are in chronic stress, as they're aging, they're not producing enough enzymes and stomach acid. Some people we still need to go in with some enzymes with, but then other people, they do fine and we don't have to do enzymes. But can enzymes heal them? No. Can they help? Yes, it can be helpful. So Paula, yeah, so here's the deal with calcium. Very few people have too little calcium in their diet. You know, there's societies around the world that only have 400 milligrams of calcium a day or less in their diet, and they don't have osteoporosis, they don't have calcium deficiencies, anything like that. It's really more about why are we pulling calcium out of the bones and why are we pulling calcium out of the body, and that's usually because of a phosphorus overdose. So there is a calcium phosphorus ratio that we need to have. Phosphorus is in sodas, it's in coffee, it's in some of those dark drinks like that. And so if somebody has too much phosphorus, we pull calcium out of the bone in different places and we get calcium deficiency because of that, as opposed to not enough calcium coming in. So I almost guarantee not a single one of you listening out there has calcium deficiency, but a lot of you are having phosphorus excess. So Google what foods have phosphorus in there, coffee, sodas, things like that, and you'll probably find some things that you're eating that you should not be eating in there. Lexi, hey, good to see you again. My daughter has blood work that came back with positive ANA, saw a rheumatologist, did more blood work, all back normal. So ANA, here's the deal. They're gonna wait until somebody has major symptoms and they're not doing well. So ANA is going to be lupus, Sjogren'S, which we just talked about a bunch with the other person, as well as mixed connective tissue disorder. So your daughter has autoimmune activity going on. Problem? Absolutely. Need to deal with it? Absolutely. So you've got to calm down the why. Remember, autoimmune, we've got to look at the whys. Adrenals, blood sugar, vitamin D needs to be at 80. We look at leaky gut. We look at food allergies. We look at estrogenic events. Maybe it was when she went through puberty, maybe when she went on a birth control pill, maybe when she had a baby, whatever it is. So very good chance she has autoimmune going on in her body. Something is being attacked, even if we can't diagnose specifically what it is. She needs to take massive action. How much do you think I wish I could have got a hold of my mom 5 to 10 years before she got diagnosed with MS and had to go on disability and quit the job that she loved and get in a wheelchair and do all those things? Absolutely. You know, sure, she was able to reverse it. She does great now, and yet that was a lot of years of trauma, and we wish we would not have had to go through it. So unfortunately, the docs are going to say, oh, let's wait until it gets bad enough and then we'll put them on methotrexate, which is low-dose chemo or a lot of different things. But here's the deal. I encourage you to take massive action. Do it now so that her body does not destroy any more tissue. Lexi, loving those sardines. Come on. And you're going to do it. Send us a video of you trying those sardines. So you may need blindfolds if you get creeped out by looking at a little fish that you're eating, but you're going to love it. It's awesome. I love those sardines. Just ordered your book. All right, Wilma, enjoy. It is a readable. People say all the time that they actually read it, and that's great. How do you do brain mapping for remote patients, Tiffany? So for patients, regardless of where they are in the country, yes, unfortunately, to be able to do a brain map, you've got to be physically here. We've got to be able to do that map. So some people that drive in, just like our patient yesterday, drove 8 hours from Omaha. Some people will fly in. They'll make hey, let's go out to Colorado or Nashville. Everybody goes to Nashville, right, to spend the weekend. So make a weekend out of it. 2 great places that you can go to, do some extra fun stuff while you're there, but come in, do a brain map, do the exam, do the blood work, and then we can sit down and for the neurofeedback that we do, the company we use has a home unit, and I've used that with patients all over the country and gotten really good results that way. So Florida, good to see you. What are some things you can do for vascular necrosis and arthritis? So again, it's an inflammatory thought process. We've got to get the inflammation down, and we've got to look at the body as a whole. There's no magic, oh, here's my joints got arthritis. I've got patients that they're almost bone on bone, and we get their inflammation down, we get their weight down, and they are moving their knees and feeling great, hiking, walking, doing all kinds of things. So it's all about inflammation at that point. Hey, Don, good to see you, Kansas City. That's on our short list. We're looking in our first 10 visits. We will be in Kansas City, Houston, yes. Charlotte, Knoxville, yes, we will be in Knoxville. Hopefully by February, March, we'll be cranking it out in Knoxville. And that'll be excited. Charlie, do you accept Medicare? Medicare, unfortunately, they're not very proactive. They don't want to prevent things. They don't want to be on this side of the fence. They would much rather pay for tens of thousands of dollars in medication and surgeries and all these things, but to prevent things, to help truly repair things, yeah, they're not going to be paying much on this, but we've got it set up. We can make it work on anybody's budget there. So I've got 2 more I can do. Interested to know if you focus on intermittent fasting or fasting of any sort to improve overall health. Amanda, most people, I've talked about this before, most people come in with adrenal issues, and we know that the number 1 stressor to the adrenal glands is blood sugar low. And a lot of people, if they're intermittent fasting, their blood sugar is going low and they're stressing their adrenals, trying to bring it up. So most patients we do not do intermittent fasting for unless they have really good adrenals. Gina, great to see you in New York. Glad you're enjoying the weather. I know I miss those September, October days up in Syracuse, and the leaves coming down. That's one part about Colorado that I miss from New York, is all those leaves. We've got pine trees and that's about it. So not a lot of leaves to walk through, but that crunching and all that. So miss those days. And we'll do one more. Lexi, what supplements do you suggest to take on a daily basis for good health along with healthy foods? We answered that one. And earlier, if you want to post that up there, Brittany, how important is the brain mapping? About 10 hours away, and if we don't make the trip out, I know we would miss out on it. So it depends. So with brain mapping and neurofeedback, if somebody has anxiety, depression, insomnia, brain fog, focus issues, if they've got any autism, Asperger's, anything brain wave like that, we've got to do a brain map and figure it out. If we don't, then we're going to be missing a big part of the puzzle. But if it's mostly just I've got gut issues and I've got thyroid, but otherwise I sleep great, I'm pretty mellow mood, I don't get anxious, I don't get irritable, whatever it is, then it may not be that big of a brain issue, but for most of our patients, they're coming in and they've got both of those going on. So yes, if at all possible, make a trip out of it, have fun wherever you would go, but that is an important piece. If that's not feasible, if that's not possible, let's at least get started on the metabolic side, and we can drop ship the blood kit, and we can do most everything remotely that way as well. So I gotta run. Love having you guys on. Keep the body strong. Remember, it's all about the host. There's hard to kill a virus, easy to keep the host strong. And if you do what you need to do. When I say easy, it takes work, it takes thought, but it's not hard. You just got to do the right things, know what to do, look at the blood work, look at the responses and your glucose and your weight and your sleep and all those things, and you can be the strongest you possible to fight off anything out there. So make it a great day, everybody. Love having you on. Take care.